Welcome to the Selection Day 2021 of the De Vigier Foundation. We are very happy you're with us. We have many guests and we have also our foundation members, our experts, the family De Vigier, and above all, our new president, André Hoffmann, with us. We are here in Solothurn in the Jump Production Studio. Thank you so much for supporting us also in this big event. This event came to life because we wanted to show more what kind of high, innovative startups we have in Switzerland, and above all, what kind of entrepreneurs are behind that. And we got 217 applications this year, and we worked really hard to get the top 60 out of that. And you will go and see top-notch startups today. It's actually a work show. Statistics in countries tell us worldwide that we are the innovation place #1. And you see some of these highly innovative, super cool entrepreneurs today. I welcomed already our foundation members, experts, our family, André Hoffmann, and we are very fortunate that we have our president this morning with us, and I give you the stage. André Hoffmann, please.
So I just had to unmute myself. Good morning, everybody, and it's an absolute delight to be here. This is my first official engagement, first official act as foundation president, and I would like to start by thanking most modestly, most seriously the people of the board of directors and of the board of the foundation who have thought that they could trust me to become their president. It's a great honor, and I'll make sure that I dispatch my functions in the most efficient manner possible. I'm very excited to be here because entrepreneurship is something I've always sort of admired. I've been active in a number of different channels to try to support entrepreneurship, and in particular ventures, new ventures, what we call in French, les jeunes pousses, the small little things that are growing that we must nurture societally and bring to a different level. My family, as you probably know, originated also from such a startup. My great-grandfather, Fritz Hoffmann-Laroche, decided that it would be an interesting idea to get involved to something else than what his predecessor had been doing. And he started a couple of small ventures. One of them was a chemist shop and a small pharmacy who eventually became the company we know today. So he spent quite a number of years negotiating with banks, negotiating with friends and family to be able to fund some of his ventures. I remember one of them was a tea plantation in Sri Lanka, which, as you can see, is very different from where we ended up. But all this participates to a certain respect in the family across the generations of this entrepreneurship DNA. How we make sure that new ideas grow and become better. And I think that is a historical link with Bill de Vigier, even if Bill was, of course, much later. But he also was able to sort of take charge of his daily life to make sure that his new ideas, his first company, was successful, and thanks to him, we are all meeting today. So I think that's an important link that unites us all. We do believe that new ideas can be a solution for a number of the problems that society is going into. I must confess that my activity personally at my generation in ventures was mostly limited to governance issue. In the same way as I am vice president and chair of different committees on the board of Roche, I've also tried to apply my activity much more in governance in startups rather than in actually doing it, which you guys are. You are the people who are actually structuring something. You are the people who are actually achieving a result. You're the people who are actually constructing a business plan and socializing it to the world. And I think that's something I deeply admire. At a very modest level, I tried myself to also engineer a startup, which we did 2 years ago, a company called UHCS, where we talk about a modular construction system based on recycled materials. I don't want to waste any time today talking about this, but I was very pleased because it gave me the opportunity to be listed by Bilan, the French business magazine, the French-speaking business magazine, in in 2018 as one of the young entrepreneur of the year. At the age of 62, I was, of course, very pleased. But okay, that's just an aside. So let's talk about the general situation at the moment. We are meeting by Zoom. We are meeting electronically. How did we get to that? A year ago, a bit more than a year ago now, we suddenly realized that this virus, this unknown entity, was something that we are going to have to fight as a system, as a collective system, as society. Now, I think there is a profound irony in this. A virus is one of the most primitive forms of life we know. In fact, it's not even alive. It will only survive if it has a host. So we, to a certain extent, are making it possible. And we're making it possible because we were unprepared for it. Now, that has in particular demonstrated the weakness of our structure. And I'd like to spend a little bit of time on this. The notion that we were sort of growing in, and so the sort of thing we were thinking of not so long ago, was that humanity entered into the age of what geologists have called the Anthropocene. We have taken control of the planet. We dominate the planet in order to create the wealth that we all need. Now, that system, which is focused mostly onto short-term satisfaction, onto specialization, has proven to be too narrow to resist an exogenous shock like the pandemic. It was not like if it was unpredictable. A number of people had been talking about the danger of contagious diseases for a number of years. Humanity has suffered many of these infections over the years, and yet we were unprepared. We did not give ourselves the tools necessary to prepare a resilient system to allow us to go into the 21st century without this danger. That's, of course, a sign of weakness, but it's also a wonderful opportunity. We now have an opportunity to rebuild. It's going to take a couple of years. It's going to take quite a long time, but we're going to have to enter into a new phase where we are going to create a more resilient, more robust system to work together. The governments around us have all gone in help mode. The regulators have been liberating enormous amounts of money. This money hasn't been spent yet, but a lot of it has been made available. And this is an opportunity for entrepreneurship to come to its real level. It's obvious that neither regulator nor NGOs or civil society in the broader sense will be able to spend this money intelligently. We need to do it ourselves. The creativity, the entrepreneurship spirit, the way of being able to do the most with less resources is absolutely crucial going forward. That's one of the main reasons why I think that the activity of startups is such exciting. Startups bring innovation, and innovation is what we need now. And we don't need just technological innovation. We need innovation in social system, in the ways of operating. We need innovation in integration of all the different parts of society. We need to deal with gender parity. We need to deal to ethnicity of not being treated the same way. We need to integrate minorities. There is a huge agenda in front of us, and business as usual will not do. Now, we already have a framework for making sure that this sort of thing functions properly. The United Nations some years ago set up the goals for humanity for the year 2030, the Sustainable Development Goal. There are 17 of them, 180 targets. And if we apply that system, if we succeed in reaching the 2030 targets, which were devised before the crisis, we would have made, I think, the best use of the crisis itself. So for me, the future looks, well, it's a difficult call that, but the future looks good because business will help us to get to a level in which we can continue to use the world resources in a sustainable manner. Now, I would like to emphasize this term sustainable. Sustainability is not just being able to protect the environment like the beautiful marsh you see behind me. Sustainability is about using all the world resources, including the human and the social ones, in a way which will allow us to continue to create value for everybody in the long term. And the idea that green or sustainable for a long time was associated to just protecting nature is a concept that we need to go over. What we need to really construct is a system which will allow us to go on creating sufficient value for humanity in a circular manner. So the root causes of all this is something I wanted to address before I close down my opening remarks. The root cause of all this is a very simple factor. It's the absolute tyranny, the absolute obsession with short-term profit maximization. Now, in the case of a startup, that's particularly relevant to keep in mind. You are being asked by the bank, by the shareholders, to maximize your profitability. Now, as long as you measure profitability just as short-term profit maximization, we're going to be in trouble. The notion of creating systems which are stable has to do with the measure of impact. If we define success just in terms of financial flow, we are missing part of the equation. To be able to create a positive result, you don't just work with money, you work with talent, you work with systems, you work with nature, we work with the environment in the broader sense. So we need to evolve a new impact measurement system which will allow us to take into account the social capital, the natural capital, the human capital, and the constructed financial capital. So in social, I mean systems, I mean minorities, I mean everybody working together. In human, I mean mostly talent, and that's the talent you have demonstrated to be able to create something new out of something that existed before. The natural capital is obvious. We cannot continue to dominate nature in a way where we just ask it to give us something without giving something back. Clean water, fresh air is not a natural given. It has a cost, and that cost has to be recommended. And of course, the financial cost, you know all about. Well, I just wanted to make these couple of points, and I just wanted to really emphasize the last one. The purpose of your company is not to make money. The purpose of your company is to see your idea blossom and your idea having a positive contribution to society in the respect of our planetary boundary. So taking whole account of what social, environmental, human, and financial system can offer. Thank you very much for having taken the time to listen to me, and back to Regula.
Thank you so much, André Hoffmann. We are very fortunate you could be with us. We know you took out of your very busy schedule this. And thank you also to becoming our president of the foundation to support startups. The startups we will see just in a moment. And you heard it. It's not the purpose of making money. It's really to give something back to society. And making money is a big side effect. Of course, we want to make money, but it's not the main purpose. And before we start, we just have a quick intro in our life science, biotech, pharma, services, and interdisciplinary clusters. Please. And we get started in a few seconds with the first startup. Just a quick reminder, the startups present 3 minutes. Then we have 1 or 2 maximum quick questions from our foundation members and the experts. The startups present in the order they applied and the cluster they chose. And a reminder again, we go all live, so if we have changes, we will just communicate that or make you aware of our website. And you see there also our program. And we have already a change with the beginning. We start with number 192 out of the services cluster with Roman Kirchhoff, Utsufly. Please, Roman.
Hi, everyone. So let me share my presentation. Yep. So I'm going to start. Great. So hi, everyone. I'm Roman Kirchhoff, founder and CEO of Utsufly, the company that is modeling your world. Personally, I love a crazy challenge such as cycling 2,000 kilometers across Norway, hiking Mont Blanc within a day, or even boxing at an amateur tournament. I'm also passionate about aviation and entrepreneurship, as you can see on the next slide. I hold a master in management, technology, and entrepreneurship from EPFL. I worked as a venture capital analyst and wrote my thesis on the drone industry. I was head of drone operation at a London-based startup which raised over 10 million and decided to come back to Switzerland to fund UsuFly to unlock the drone potential. At UsuFly, we are digital twins architects building exact replicas that can be used either for 3D integration and visualization or for engineering purposes, such as running simulations. We started with the urban development market, which is summarized in 4 steps. Stakeholders rely on outdated data from Google Maps, overlaying polygons to showcase a feasibility study. Then they rely on expensive and slow traditional methods to get accurate site condition to undertake the detailed design to finally deliver computer-generated image with very limited context. At UsuFly, we create digital twins at municipality scale to visualize the entire area and all future developments. We can also integrate a feasibility 3D design directly in our digital twins. That's for public consultation. We can convert our digital twins into a technical drawings at a fraction of traditional costs. Finally, we can deliver immersive and photorealistic videos showcasing both the volume and the architecture styles, and that's for communication purposes. In terms of market, taking neighboring countries into account, we expect to get a 10% market share by 2030, equivalent to over 100 millions of revenue per year. For the business model, first, we provide end-to-end service to generate revenues early on, to then outsource the data acquisition to local service providers to unlock scalability. The competition already started this revolution in Australia and in the US. Europe is lagging behind, and we are here to seize this opportunity. In only 4 months, we closed 5 deals for 67K. By the end of 2023, we expect a revenue of 2.8 million and a team of 23 people. We already have a fully operational team to complete our first project and are surrounded by industry experts and leading organizations. So if we were lucky to win the DVG Awards, we would use this money to hire people, invest in hardware to support our initial growth. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you so much, Romain. And we go over to our foundation members and they raise their hands when they want to get started with the questions. Or just speak up. Yes, please, Guy, Bettinia.
Okay, good morning, everybody again. I would like to know a little bit more on how you intend to go to market with this service, how you reach the people who are relevant to make the decision, and how you interface with them, how you go to market, how you bring this service to the market. If you could reiterate a little bit on that. Thank you.
Yes, sure. Thank you for the question. So we had to select an initial market. We decided for the urban and territory development market for municipalities. And we're saying, okay, first, we want to give you a better understanding and visualization of all construction building projects that are happening on your area. And we are helping you to also share this future project with the local community with videos and to stop like any how do you say when people don't want a project to go ahead, and then there is a lot of delays and costs related to that.
Thank you very much. A second question.
You'll be probably facing competition from at least one of the big companies, maybe two, Google and Apple, in my specific mind, because they have the data and they have the satellite views and all the rest, and it's getting better and better. I mean, if you look from 2 years into 2 years, I mean, the quality is extraordinary. So how are you going to differentiate towards those people, and how much service do you have to do yourself versus have somebody else do the service? Because you cannot be buddy with all the communes and the Gemeinden and the regions and whatever that want to do planning. So you'll probably have to work with other people. So how would that interface work?
Yeah, so that's a very good question. So the first one is, how do we compete with Google Maps? Google Maps are using satellite images and also sometimes plane images to have an accurate 3D model within cities that are well known. And basically, the closer to the Earth you are getting, the more details you will have. And satellite will be around a few meters of accuracy and resolutions. With drones, we can go down to the centimeter level, and that's the level of accuracy that one needs to undertake an infrastructure project. Then a part for the scaling part is that we first do everything ourselves, but that's not scalable, of course. And that's when we'll outsource the data capture, the data acquisition to local service providers and automate all the rest of our workflow. And that's how we will be able to scale internationally.
We stop here. You can see we would like to go on with more questions. Thank you so much, Romain, for you. And
thank you very much, Regula.
And we go on to number 35, to Diana Moore. Move on, please.
Unmute. Good morning, everyone. I'm Diana, and I'm the CEO of Move On Therapeutics, a biotech spin-off from the University of Zurich with the mission to advance a personalized cell therapy for skeletal muscle regeneration. Our first target disease is one that no one likes to talk about. Let me quickly show you. Take a look outside. It's beautiful. Thanks to COVID, all of us know how it feels craving to go out, but being afraid to meet people, to laugh with your friends, to do team sports. Panicking when you cough or sneeze, or even when no toilet paper is around. Now you feel like 200 million people worldwide feel on a daily basis for years. They suffer from a disease called stress urinary incontinence, representing the involuntary loss of urine by increased abdominal pressure. 75% of the affected people are women. Every fourth woman is affected after childbirth, and the dark numbers of the taboo disease are much higher. Importantly, not only elderly are affected, as the peak of the disease is actually in the mid-40s. It represents a huge economic burden both to healthcare and society, and the comorbidities are numerous, such as depression, isolation, and various infections. All of the symptomatic relief options on the market nowadays are far from ideal and bring along many drawbacks, including the current gold standard TVT slings. Thus, only 8% affected women seek treatment today. And exactly this is where Move On comes into the game. We offer the long-term safe solution addressing the underlying cause of SUI, which is the damaged urinary sphincter muscle, thus offering cure to all affected women. Out of a tiny muscle biopsy, we isolate and expand the cells, mix them with a collagen carrier before implantation in the weakened sphincter muscle. This is then further supported by neuromuscular electromagnetic stimulation, finally leading to regeneration and functional restoration. Now let's have a look how we came up with this. In 2012, I started my PhD with a mission, proving safety and feasibility of the approach, leading to the final approval by Swissmedic. And this motivated me to stay on board and see my baby grow. And being a mother of two gives me already a competitive advantage for growing babies. I continued this challenge. And my first task was to secure the financials, namely 6 million euro by winning the highly competitive Horizon 2020 grant for translating the therapy from the bench to the bedside and by building a team. Now being at the end of phase 1 and actively fundraising for the future development. And who are we? This here is my fabulous team members without whom I wouldn't be here today. Thanks a lot. And we all work together with one mission, to regain control of life. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you so much, Diana. And we go over to the questions. Michael, yes, please.
Good. Thank you very much for the presentation. My question is, can you tell us a little bit more about the reimbursement? Who pays for what?
we hope that one day the reimbursement will be covered by the health insurances. We are confident of it because the currently gold standard is being reimbursed. Of course, with cell therapies, we are in a premium class with the payments, but I see that as we'll offer better efficacy, better safety, and functional regeneration, these are good enough reasons to get reimbursed.
Thank you. I believe, Christian, you left your hand.
Hello, very nice presentation. My question, how can this therapy be brought to women in other countries or all over the world?
Thank you. Excellent question. This is what we are doing now, our fundraising on, basically to automate the whole process, because in cell therapy, your product is your process. And the idea is that we made modular automation of our process so that we can basically copy paste it all over the world and license out to partners who already have GMP facilities, or as well building ourselves some in Europe and US so that we can also do it ourselves.
Thank you very much, and we have to move on. Thank you so much, Diana. And we go on to number 47, Alexander Schürler, Selvi. We can't hear you. Now it's fine, it's coming.
Now it should be fine.
Super.
Thank you, Regula, for this kind introduction. At Selvi, we are having a very ambitious objective to bring about a new treatment modality using mitochondria. The technology's first application will be in ischemia-reperfusion injury. It occurs when the flow of blood is interrupted and subsequently reintroduced. You will all know the medical conditions too well: stroke, heart attack, long surgical procedures. Ischemia-reperfusion injury is the world's #1 killer. Many attempts have been made to treat it, but today, all of them failed. We believe they failed because they were unable to address a mitochondrial dysfunction that arises during ischemia, during that lack of blood flow. Mitochondria turn oxygen into energy. They power almost all of our cellular functions. And of course, when they get damaged, cells die. But what if? What if we could replace and augment the mitochondria damaged during a heart attack? This is exactly what we have shown to be possible at Selvi. We can transfer viable, healthy mitochondria into cells affected by ischemia, reinvigorating their cell energy metabolism to enable those cells to survive when they would otherwise die. The technology was developed at Harvard, and I've joined forces with this group of experts to start Selvi. And I'd like to illustrate what kind of impact we may have. This is a mouse that was subjected to 2 hours without blood flow to that hind leg. You see, the use of that leg is lost. With mitochondrial transplantation, however, the function in that leg can be retained. Safety and efficacy were shown in small and large animal models, and a clinical trial is ongoing. A pilot study in patients without treatment options, in patients with very low chance of survival. Children, in fact, that suffered an ischemia-reperfusion injury and are connected to ECMO, a heart-lung machine to keep them alive. We have achieved 80% heart recovery in that group. This is unheard of. At Selvi, we're taking this technology to market. I'm business by background, and Selvi is my second venture in the medical space, having co-founded, built, and successfully exited Adhesive Medical. I'm particularly excited about the potential impact of Selvi's technology, about contributing what may emerge as a new category of medicines. And of course, I'm looking forward to build the team, to build a network of partners to share this journey. Please join us. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Alex. Felix Grisar, right? You raised your hand.
Well, I think I have a question in the entrepreneurial space. I think the product is fantastic, and the results that Harvard professors can achieve with this this medicine or with this technology is great. What is your entrepreneurial ambition?
Yeah, so the therapy's ability has been very well proven, but as you sure can appreciate, now we have to turn this from a therapy into a product. And with mitochondria, the common denominator to a variety of diseases, we really believe we can make a platform technology out of this. So my vision is to bring about mitochondria as a treatment modality, to leverage the therapeutic potential not only in ischemia-reperfusion injury, but in mitochondrial myopathies, for instance, where there is a great need to treat.
Maybe I have a question leading on from here. In what time frame you see these things happening?
That's going to be a great function of how quickly we can productize the therapy. So I expect that we have our first approval in about 6 to 7 years. And here we're going for kidney transplantation to minimize the cost and time to market, given in particular requirements for clinical studies.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye, Alex.
Bye.
Bye-bye. And we go on to number 58, Matteo Gonaglia, Nagi Science.
Yes. Hello, everyone. I'm Matteo Gonaglia, CEO and co-founder of Nagi Bioscience. At Nagi, we create innovative technologies to realize the full potential of microorganisms for biological testing. Why this is so important? Because the number of substances produced every day today is simply too massive, being them potential drugs, cosmetics, or chemicals. It's even one new one every 2.3 seconds registered. So that basically it's becoming impossible to test all of these, especially for those complex tests where the whole organism complexity is still needed and where actually animal testing is still the only solution. So as a result, even 89% of chemicals today on the market lack reproductive toxicity data. So you can easily imagine how this is dangerous for all of us humanity, but also for the environment where they get released. So our solution at Nagi Bioscience is to reduce and replace traditional animal testing by the use of microorganisms. What we use in particular is a well-known and scientifically validated model in biology, which is a microscopic worm called C. elegans, which is a full organism, full in vivo data are provided, proven to be predictive for more complex ones such as mice. Still, it's a non-sentient and a fully ethical approved organism. But what we did at Nagi is to revolutionize the way of working with C. elegans from this old way based on manual methods to this new way, fully automated, fully standardized, where worms can be cultured, treated, and analyzed inside our microfluidic cartridges, plugged within our all-in-one robotic device, provided with an artificial intelligence-based software for data analysis. So all-in-one, this solution can finally really provide in vivo data at the in vitro scale. At Nagi, we raised so far 3.2 million from grants, awards, and a seed round of investment, and we accumulated over 350K in sales from pilots and service activities with top customers, including actually 2 of the top 5 agrochemical companies. Here you see our current device is a pre-industrial stage, and it's ready for beta testing now at customer sites. And this is really my strongest motivation as a person, as an entrepreneur today, to make a real impact in the world. We're very close to that, and our mission and our vision is really to accelerate the world's transition towards a new era of biological testing, which is really based on sustainability and reduction of animal testing. This is also the result somehow of all my studies, as I studied physics engineering, nanotechnology, and then started a PhD to apply this knowledge at EPFL in the biomedical field. There I met Laurent for the first time. We started as scientists in Nagi Adventure and then became the company founders. So my daily motivation as an entrepreneur come from people. So first of all, our great team, very talented, very multidisciplinary. And then the extended team of all the people that have been supporting us and support us every day, investors and people sharing our same vision. And then, of course, last but not least, our customers. So these are our first beta testing installation picture. And of course, the great positive feedbacks we're getting make me really believe that as a CEO now, I can satisfy my mission of making Nagi a great commercial success and make a new sustainable way of testing drugs, chemicals, cosmetics. Thank you.
Thank you, Matteo. Christian? You have to unmute first.
Hello, very interesting technology. How accurate is this model compared to animal testing? Do you have some data on that, some tests made? Or?
Yeah, sure. So that's, of course, the big question. So we run several pilots, as I mentioned, some of them actually with top agrochemical companies, as we are all interested in the same question. And we produce ourselves results proving that the productivity is extremely good with respect to the standard results. We did that basically by testing hundreds of benchmark chemical compounds and reproduce the same type of results. I cannot fully disclose all the details, but of course, I'll be glad to discuss more. Then C. elegans, as I mentioned, is an approved, and it's been in research over 60 years, so there's plenty of publications and other type of external support validating a lot of the tests we do.
I don't see anybody's second question, so I thank you so much, Matteo.
Thank you.
And we move on to number 65, Fauci-Cecana, Hemost OD.
Good morning, everyone. Can you see my screen?
Perfect.
Perfect, thank you, sorry. So good morning, everyone. I am Fauci-Cecana, the CEO and co-founder of Imostody. Imostody is my second entrepreneurial venture, as in 2009, I co-founded a EPFL spin-off called Lemotics, which was acquired by Intel Semiconductor in 2015. After I fulfilled my obligation to Intel in 2018, I started looking for an attractive new business opportunity, and I found it. At Imostod, our mission is to manufacture ex vivo blood platelets and to make it available on demand. First, let me define platelets. Platelets are the red cells, the cells in your bloodstream that stop you from bleeding. Platelet transfusion is the only way to prevent hemorrhages in patients suffering from trauma or undergoing surgery or chemotherapy. It is a huge medical need and it's a life-saving solution. But because platelets are only available from human donors, they also have their downsides.
We do not see your slides. Is that on purpose, or I see you clicking, but we don't see your slides?
Normally you should see my slide.
Maybe you need to check your camera, that both are on the slides and that you shared. Maybe you did not share.
I share it.
And then the camera on.
The camera is on.
You know what we do with you? Just come at the end once again, and then you check that. Is that okay? And then we move on to the next one. Is that fine with you?
Okay,
yeah,
perfect.
Yeah.
Sorry
no worries, no worries. We are live, and so this happens. So we just move on to number 100, Sina Udina Babylat. And we can't hear you.
Hello. That's a pleasure to be invited. I hope you see my full screen right now.
Perfect.
So let me introduce Babylat and our company to you. We are aimed to save the most fragile lives. We would like to deliver a protein-enriched fraction of human milk for very low birth weight babies. When babies born too early, they have multiple health issues. They are very premature, and there are a lot of open needs, and one of them is what to give them as a food. Human milk is the best food for any neonat, but it has too low protein content. And if this baby would not receive enough protein, they would start to develop brain delays, and many other health issues would happen. To answer it, hospitals are aware of this problem from last 50 years. They add currently cow milk protein fraction. But that's not optimal because that's hamper strictly beneficial properties of human milk because you add something artificial there. There are several companies who provide also extract from human milk, commercializing human milk donations, but they're not so widely available. What we suggest, it's a third solution here. We would like to deliver to each hospital automated device for protein extraction on site of this fraction for any interested hospital. And we talked with the specialists, they see how it matches their routine. Many hospitals, basically 95%, currently collect human milk from their donors to provide food for especially very vulnerable infants like preterm neonates. And they just increase slightly the number of donation, and they put some of the milk inside of our instrument and provide this fraction on site and put it back to the milk, enrich protein contents, and baby would receive the best food ever. Plus, it's ecologically friendly because we do not ship any milk, we do it all on site. And we calculated how many hospitals would be potentially interested, and only in highly developed countries, around already 2,000 hospitals we identified. And around 0.3 million every year of babies born in each of countries of our interest in total. So to sum up, we have basically 3 generations of possible solutions. One would be co-milk, which is not the optimal due to the health risk. Second is still not widely available product, which are commercialization of human milk happen, which is not so ethical. And we are ethically free. We provide automated device. We do not have any other milk donation, but hospital don't collect this milk. And we received several milestones already in our protocol. We deliver now manual prototype almost there. We patented our innovative device. And we got several nice achievements last year, and hopefully next year it will be continue like that. We have a great team of specialists, and I'm happy to work with these people. And about me, I was raised in polar town Murmansk, so I'm very resilient and patient person, used to polar nights, and I break the ice of human milk donation and put this mission now because that's very relevant for all of us. And my experience, I'm protein biochemist, PhD, got at University of Kent in England, and I was working in many topics as a structural biologist and protein biochemist. But what I do now, it's my passion, and I'm really happy that I found this topic and topic found me. So thank you very much for your attention. That was a pleasure to present today. Thank you.
Thank you, Sina. And we go over to the questions.
I would have a question to you, if I may.
Sure.
Are there any disadvantage of your methods? The baby, the kidney and so on, they cope with such a high protein content in their food, or what? Are there any disadvantages, basically?
You should make not standard fortification, but personalized, first of all. That's anyway current shift of paradigms at hospitals. Even if they use co-milk or commercial product of human milk fortifiers, they need to match personal requirements of each baby to avoid over-fortification. You are totally right. But they measure metabolites, and they understand and identify what's the best concentration for each particular baby. Exactly. So my method would not be less advantageous here, because anyway hospitals must to do personalized fortification of food.
Thank you.
Please, Michael.
Can you tell us again something about the market size? How big is the market?
Yes, of course. So it's already identified with us that we have neonatal intensive care units containing hospitals. Like in Europe, there are 700 hospitals at least with such units where very low birth weight babies are treated, because not each hospital has this facility. It's very special, trained personnel needed. And if you go to Brazil plus highly developed countries, why I'm saying Brazil, because Brazil is the #1 by human milk donation due to the government efforts supporting this, we will have around 2,000 hospitals, which could be potential clients of our device, only in 31 countries. If we after go to China or Russia or Argentina, India, then it would be much more large market. And that's our goal, actually, to make such product be widely available for each interested hospital, because we're also very efficient by our cost solution.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sina.
Thank you very much again. It's a pleasure to present.
Bye-bye. We go on with 115, Rafael Rolli, Eardrop Biosciences.
Hello, everyone. Can you see my screen?
Yes, perfect. Perfect.
Okay, perfect. Okay. So to start, I want to ask you something. Over the last year, have you felt that your mental well-being hasn't been stable? Because you're not alone. According to European statistics, 4 out of 10 people would fulfill the criteria for a psychiatric disorder just in the last 12 months. Today, current treatments are only addressing the symptoms. They aim to substitute for a healthy brain wiring, create dependency, and cause a variety of side effects. Plant-based medicine, together with professional therapy, have shown unprecedented results in the treatment of mental health disorders. Very prominent institutions such as the University Hospital in Zurich and Johns Hopkins University have already performed high-impact research with these medicines. Just to show you some impressive results, they have found 60% efficacy in treatment-resistant depression, 67% of patients addicted to tobacco stopped smoking, and 80% reduction in markers of anxiety and depression in terminal cancer patients. However, a lack of consistent and compliant manufacturing has limited its integration and accessibility in the market. With AirDrop's enzymatic biomanufacturing platform, we provide a portfolio of different plant-based therapeutics, molecules that are consistent and compliant and enable critical solutions to our patients. Our technology allows for fast prototyping of plant-based therapeutics, rapid scale-up processes at lower cost and high efficiency. Additionally, we'll be pioneers in the scale-up of this technology with the first modular cell-free bioreactor. The market for pharmaceutical-grade cannabinoids is expected to grow to 50 billion by the end of the decade and 7 billion for psychedelic medicines. We are unique regarding production efficiency and purity. There's no one who can compete in the market with chemical synthesis, other traditional biosynthesis, or plant extraction. My name is Rafael. I'm co-founder of AirDrop Biosciences. I have a master's degree in EPFL in bioengineering, and I was diagnosed with obsessive compulsive disorder and depression at a young age of 15. I took antidepressants for 3 years, and I wish solutions like this existed before. That's why I'm committed to bring them to patients now. I'm backed up by an amazing team at EPFL and a very well-experienced advisory board. In summary, we are at the forefront of 2 paradigm shifts, the first one in mental health treatments and the second one in biomanufacturing processes. Up to 1 billion patients worldwide could benefit from our innovation. We have a protected and expandable biotechnology, and we focus on sustainable development goals. Thank you, and let's join forces to bring new solutions to our health.
Thank you very much, Rafael. Yes, Christian Brandt.
Hi, Rafael. Thank you for the presentation. My question is also your medicine has, you get dependent on it, or have you made tests on that? Or can you say something to that, or is it?
Of course. Maybe it's easier. I have a support slide. Maybe it's easier if I show you. We have here the dependence potential of certain things like nicotine, as you can see here, which the dependence potential is quite high. Alcohol, heroin is the biggest one, and then cannabis and psilocybin, which are the main compounds of what I'm talking about. They show very low dependence potential and extremely very low active dose over the lethal dose. So usually you take these medicines for 1 to 2 sessions instead of having to take them every day. I hope that answered your question.
Thank you. Yes.
Michael, please.
Where do you see the biggest challenge for your project or about your project?
Well, there's a big part on the regulatory side that needs to be taken care of. That's why we are taking the time to approach people and build the necessary connections, especially starting here in Switzerland with in Zurich and Basel. But That's usually where I see more the problem, the challenge in the regulatory aspect, and making technologies that are being possible to have a proper scale-up process.
Mm-hmm. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Raphael.
Thank you very much, Regula. And thank you, everyone.
We go on to number 191, Frank Bonnet, Bionormes.
Hello, everyone. Do you hear me well?
We are getting ready here. We can see everything. It's nice.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. You're all set to go.
Can you wait just a couple of seconds? Sorry. Yeah, perfect. So, hello, everyone. I'm Frank.
Super.
I was always passionate about two major fields during my life, robotics and biology. And this is why I decided to study both during my PhD at the EPFL. In my thesis, I designed a robotic fish to study the behavior of groups of adult fish. It was a lot of fun to build that robot and collaborate with biologists to perform the studies. But every time I was visiting the biologists, I was disappointed actually, as they were not using my robot a lot when I was not around. Instead, they were spending a lot of time sorting the eggs of these little fish by hand. And what I discovered at that time is that this was not an isolated case. The fish they were using was a zebrafish, a 4 centimeter long freshwater fish, very easy to breed in laboratories. It is a research model because they share 70% of genes with humans, produce a large quantity of eggs that are transparent so we can observe all the embryonic development, and the eggs and the larvae at early stage do not count as animals in the legislation, thus offer a more ethical and efficient alternative to classical animal models used in research. But one of the main drawbacks for researchers for extending the use of zebrafish in labs is the high labor and cost associated with the preparation of the eggs, as they require sorting and pipetting. This is why we co-founded Bionormes and gathered a team of young and passionate people to develop a new technology to answer this growing need and meet the standards of our customers. This patented technology is based on microfluidics, vision, and machine learning to automatize the selection of the entities, the sorting, and a dispensing for a faster, more ethical, and affordable research. This technology does not only apply to the user of zebrafish, as many small organisms are used intensively in research nowadays and require such preprocessing, offering perspective for future development and growth to our company. Our targeted customers are research institutions and companies working with the zebrafish, for instance, in toxicology, genetics, but also for the diagnostics and treatments of cures such as cancer. Our business model is based on the sale of the device, but also on recurrent revenues, mostly coming from software add-ons. We envisioned a continuous growth of the company over the years, and mostly a growth of our profit based on these recurrent revenues. In terms of traction, we have already obtained 1 device per order and several letters of intent from our customers, and we are currently testing our beta version with them. And we have already secured about 1 million francs of funding, and we are still currently looking for funds in a seed round to boost the commercialization of our product in 2021. On behalf of our team, I thank you very much for your attention, and I'm happy to take some questions.
Thank you, Frank. Please, Christian.
How far is your development of this machine? Where are you in the process?
Thank you for the question. So, as I said, so we have a beta version that you probably saw on the video we showed. This version, we can already test the device with our customers. So we have already tested with some of them, and we, as I said, so we have pre-orders. So we're gonna install some of the device in spring. This is the beta version, so we will test it to validate all the concepts, software, hardware, and then the goal is, from the feedback we will receive from the customers, design the final version that we hope to commercialize next year in 2022.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Felix Grisard.
How are you going to market this product once you have the readiness to sell it?
So probably first we're going to distribute.
Frank, maybe don't move too much, otherwise your voice goes in and out. So just stand still.
Okay. So our goal is to first, when we launch the product, probably distribute ourselves the product, but then we already discussed with some potential partners in various continents to help us distributing, but also doing the maintenance of the products and even sometimes co-produce the device if needed.
Okay, thank you so much. And now I think we go on with Fauzi Kechana, if he is ready now from Hemost OD. So let's try if he is ready now. Yes.
Yes,
Very
I am
good.
here. I'm ready.
So please tell your name again. It's 65. So for those who, we jumped now a little bit. And your name again?
Fauzi Kechana.
There we go. Hemost OD, please.
Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see now everything.
Okay, thank you. Sorry again. So, good morning again, everyone. I am Fauzi Kechana, the CEO and co-founder of Imostod. Imostod is my second entrepreneurial venture, as in 2009, I co-founded an EPFL spin-off called Lemoptics, which was acquired by Intel Semiconductor in 2015. After I fulfilled my obligation to Intel, I started looking for an attractive new business opportunity, and I found it. At Imostod, our mission is to manufacture ex vivo blood platelets and to make it available on demand. First, let me define platelets. Platelets are the cells in your bloodstream that stop you from bleeding. Platelet transfusion is the only way to prevent hemorrhages in patients suffering from trauma or undergoing surgery or chemotherapy. It's a huge medical need and it's a life-saving solution. But because platelets are only available from human donors, they also have their downsides. The only source of platelets is a blood donation system. Platelets cannot be stored at low temperature and they expire after only 5 days. Because platelets come from humans, they can be contaminated by bacteria and viruses. There is, for patients, a risk of immune rejection, and the major problem is there is not enough supply to meet the demand, causing a regular shortage. All of that lead to higher risk for patients and extra costs. That's where we come in. Imostod's teams has coupled stem cell biology with microfluidic to develop a technology that enables manufacturing of platelets in high volume. Those are standardized platelets, sterile, fresh and efficient, immune neutral, and available on demand. To date, this process is protected by free patent and 2 more are under filing. The global market for platelet transfusion is $10 billion, and the market is projected to grow due to the aging of the population and the increased prevalence of cancer. The fact that blood donation is on the decline means that shortage will become more and more common. All of this sets the stage for a healthy long-term market for ex vivo platelets. The scientific research that is the basis of the Imostod's technology was performed during 10 years at INSERM, the medical research organization in France. A company was formed and spun off, but it went bankrupt at the end of 2019. After a due diligence, I bought the asset of this company and I incorporated Imostod in Lausanne in July 2020. I used the rest of the last year to put in place a team of diverse experts to reach our ambitious objectives. We are currently closing a round of 2.2 million, a seed round, sorry, of 2.2 million, and we plan to conduct a Series A funding round in 2023. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Fauzi. Felix, please.
It's your second enterprise. You're on a base a scientist. In your heart, what are you more, a scientist or are you more entrepreneur?
First, I will say that I'm not a scientist. I was trained like an engineer. So I will say that basically I am a techie guy more than an entrepreneur. But I'm more a techie than an entrepreneur. But I really enjoy developing myself in this new role. In my previous company, I was the head of engineering. Today, I decided to take this role of CEO of this new company.
Michael?
Can you tell us a little bit about the cost for the hospital compared to the blood donation? Is it similar, or is it?
The final objective is, of course, to be lower than, considering all advantage we have, combined with a slightly lower price. We should able to compete with the blood donor platelets.
Okay, thank you so much, Fauci.
Thank you.
And we are going over now to the services and interdisciplinary startups. And we go on with number 76, Adam Klapoc, Rigi Technologies.
Yes, hi everybody. Can you hear me and see me okay?
Yes, everything is fine.
Perfect. So thank you for taking the time to listen to me today. My name is Adam Klaptach. I'm a co-founder, CEO at Biotech, and I want to tell you a little bit what inspired this entrepreneurial journey to create this company. For the last 15 years, I've been working kind of at the crossroads of technology and good, if you like. I spent 4 years doing a PhD at EPFL, where we were looking at how drones could be used for indoor inspection, where it's too dangerous for human beings. This PhD turned into the startup Flyability that's taken off over the last few years. I then spent 4 years working at SenseFly, where I got to see a great startup as one of the first employees, all the way up to an exit 4 years later, where I was head of engineering where there's 150 people in the company. That was really exciting, but it was also a time that I started looking at the good applications we can do with these drones. I did crazy things like throw drones off the top of the Matterhorn to do a very high resolution map. Then I also got inspired to look in development, and that's where for the 2 years after that, I co-founded a nonprofit organization called We Robotics, where we were looking at where I was searching for the good uses of drone technology around the world. We did a lot of really great projects, 5 different continents, but it was when I got to the middle of the Peruvian Amazon, and we went to villages that had no access to, their only access to civilization was rivers, boats that took hours to get there, or an occasional plane that could land on the river every few weeks. This was their only way of getting medicines or life-saving healthcare. I thought we really have to find a better, more efficient way to get healthcare out to the far reaches of the world. So that's where I got together with 2 of my co-founders, Ola Lopez, who was doing the drone program at Doctors Without Borders, David Rivera, who was doing drone mapping in Africa mostly, and we created Rigi Tech. 2 years ago, we're now about 12 people, and our vision is really to transform access to goods through autonomous aerial logistics. What we do ultimately is building drones to deliver packages, and not just drones, but what we call the air bridge. The air bridge is really a link, direct aerial link between laboratories, hospitals, or clinics, or all sorts of businesses that can efficiently deliver in a direct line packages, such as medicines, vaccines, fully autonomous, simple to use, and ultimately much more cost effective than driving between all of these different locations and using ground-based logistics that get stuck in traffic, that guzzles gas and pollutes the environment. So this is really what we do at Rigi Tech. Now, our business plan is really to follow regulations to get to a point where it's really scalable. Our first market that we're doing right now is really diagnostics, vaccines, and healthcare. This is where there's the highest value. Over €1 billion a year is spent today just moving blood around between laboratories. So it's a great entry market for us. But ultimately, logistics is a support service for all sorts of businesses out there. Over €1 trillion used around the world, just moving small packages around to us every year. So we started the company 2 years ago. In the last 2 years, we've done demos and pilots with some of the biggest laboratory groups around Europe. Unilabs and Synlabs are the first ones we worked with. We now have sold our first units to operators in Denmark. And we had a lot of great support from organizations around here, most recently from the ESABIC Accelerator and from the DIH Hero program, which we'll be using to roll out our first projects here in Switzerland. In the middle of all this, COVID came around, of course, which made our mission even that much more important. Over 800 million COVID tests have been done worldwide since last year. Masks need to be delivered all over the world. 8 billion people need to be vaccinated. So I guess I'm running a little bit out of time, but basically this is our roadmap.
You need to have your last sentence, please.
Last sentence, our roadmap this year is basically to do our first delivery route between 2 hospitals here in Switzerland after our trials last year in Italy and in Portugal. Sorry for running over time. Thank you.
Thank you, Adam. And let's go over to the questions. Christian?
Hello, thank you for the presentation. I have a question. There was, to my knowledge, in Zurich, between 2 hospitals, such a service, which then there was a crash, I think was organized by Post or so. Why your system is better or more reliable than what has been done today?
Indeed, there has been quite some drone delivery trials around the world. Absolutely. Some of them are becoming quite successful. Some of them did occur in Switzerland, run by the Post. They were mostly over shorter distances. Our technology runs much farther distances than the 5 kilometers that was happening in Zurich, which makes it a lot more useful and creates a lot more value, especially if you want to reach between 2 hospitals that can often be in 2 different cities or reach clinics that are in smaller towns. So our technology, I would say, can cover a broader range of logistics needs. In terms of the crash, of course, this is a technology that needs to be done in a very safe way. And so testing and certification is a key aspect to any aerospace technology. So we are putting a very big focus on this. We've got over 500 test flights just in the last year to build a safety case. And we are also integrating a lot of advanced systems. That's one of our USPs, is the safety systems that we have, the redundancies, the parachute systems that we have, and all sorts of systems that can take over in case any one system fails.
Okay, I guess we move on because the answer was also quite long, so we just move on. Huh? Thank you so much, Adam.
Thank you.
And we go on to number 123, Volker Bartenbach, Auxivo.
Yes, can you see my slides and hear me?
Yes, we can see the slides, hear you well.
Okay, so thank you very much. My name is Volker Bartenbach. I am the CEO of the company Auxivo AG. We are a spin-off from ETH in Zurich, and we are developing wearable support systems to protect industry workers. Industry workers like the ones that you can see here. And these are scenes that you will find in many different industries, workers who are executing physically very demanding tasks that often involve repetitive lifting and the handling of very heavy loads. And over time, this kind of work in many cases can cause injuries. And these are the kind of injuries that happen during an accident, but very often these are also the kind of injuries that happen over time, so they develop over the years. And in any case, these kind of injuries, of course, can cause severe problems to the people affected, but they have also a severe and well-documented economic impact on all the stakeholders that are involved. And the situation as it is even today is certainly far from ideal. And from our point of view, it's also not really necessary in the 21st century. And to improve on this situation, we at Auxivo, we are developing 2 kinds of wearable solutions. The first solution are wearable exoskeletons. These are devices that you connect to your body before you start working. They support your movements. They reduce the physical workload on your body. And by doing so, they can prevent the injuries. A second line of product that we are also working on are wearable sensor systems. These are devices that you can also connect to your body before you start working. They record, for example, movement data. This data is then analyzed by a machine learning algorithm, which can identify high-risk work patterns. And this can then be used in a next step to actually inform preventive measures to reduce the health risk. At the moment, we are still strongly focusing on the left-hand side, so on the exoskeleton side. And here, over the last years, we have assembled a great interdisciplinary team to build these devices. Just last year, we managed to launch a pilot series of our first product, which is a lightweight lift support exosuit. And just over the last couple of months, we have realized first sales to a variety of customers. Among them are some of the bigger names in their respective industries. From where we are today, this year, so 2021, we will focus to further develop and launch our exoskeleton devices. Toward the end of this year, we actually aim to raise an additional financing round, which will enable us then to grow our operations, launch additional products, and that can be used around the world then to prevent occupational injuries across many industries. So thank you already that you consider us supporting us, and thank you, of course, very much for your time.
Thank you, Volker. Alain?
Can you tell us a few words about competition, alternatives, or what's happening in that world of safety at work?
Yes. So regarding competition, we have alternative technical solutions. So these are other technical solutions, how you can reduce the workload or the injuries. And we have other exoskeletons. Over the last 2 or 3 years, the exoskeletons have been more and more coming. And the big advantage that they have, that they can provide support in many situations. So you put them on your body and you have them with you all the time. So this is the big advantage that we can offer there. Did I answer your question?
I was wondering when I saw your slides, do you see any potential to go into hospitals? I mean, this is a huge need there. Is that on your...
Yes, actually, yes. Just a couple of weeks ago, we started first testing in hospitals. So what we can support, especially with our first device, are lifting movement and working in a forward-leaning posture. And forward-leaning posture, of course, you find that in patient handling and in other tasks that are happening at hospitals. So yes, we just started that road. Thank you so much,
Volker, and we move on. We go on with the next one with 135, Karina Popovici, art recognition.
Thank you, Regula. Can you see my screen and hear me?
Perfect.
Okay, thank you. So good morning, everyone. I'm Karina Popovici, CEO of Art Recognition. At Art Recognition, we have developed So at Art Recognition, we have developed an AI system for art authentication and forgery detection. Our AI can learn the unique artwork, the unique brushstroke of an artist from a data set of original artworks by that artist.
Karina, we have some problems to see. Your face froze and your PowerPoint. Just try, I give you around 5 seconds, and otherwise we just give you afterwards in the loop again. So just take your time. Do you hear us, correct?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, we could also hear you. We could also see your slides. That would be not a problem just to have the slides, but you froze, so there seems to be a problem.
Okay, so maybe I'll just continue the slide, sharing the slides.
Try, and otherwise we just get you afterwards once more in, okay?
Okay. So can you see my slides now?
I see the proprietary AI system. I see that one now. Yes.
Okay, so I think I would just move on without the video.
Super, super. No, this is perfect.
Okay. So I hope I can get back the seconds. Okay, so we have this AI system for art authentication and forgery detection. And the AI learns the main characteristics of an artist from original artworks by that artist, and then it can recognize them on a submitted artwork. And this is not meant to outperform art experts, but really just to complement and support their work. However, our program is less costly than traditional authentication methods since all the transportation and insurance expenses are eliminated. It is also much faster because only a photograph of the artwork is required for the process. Our vision is to establish a label, AI certified, meaning to put an authenticity stamp on every painting that comes up for sale. And we also want to put that stamp on the artworks that are being published in new catalog raisonnés. And a different course of action is to start scanning items offered on online marketplaces to discover hidden masterpieces or to uncover forgeries. In practice, the client needs to upload a photograph of their artwork on our web platform, and within a few days, he receives a technical report which contains a response, so original, not original, and also a heat map, which shows all the identified features confirming or disconfirming the authenticity of that artwork. Our client basis includes auction houses, galleries, experts, art experts, private collectors, and so on. Here I'm showing a few of the milestones which we have achieved during the past 3 years. So starting with the incorporation at the beginning of 2019, together with my colleague Christiane, who's probably watching but not seeing me. So hello, Christiane. Then the first collaborations with Van Gogh and Cézanne experts, the first events that we took part on. Then last year we started a major project founded by the EU. And finally, SRF has picked up the story at the beginning of the last year. And a few words about myself. So I was born in a small town in the south of Romania. I'm a passionate art lover. I have a degree in theoretical physics and some experience as a quantitative risk manager in the Swiss banking industry. I have developed the main code of the art recognition algorithm. I'm a proud mother of 2 daughters. And as you can see, in between the birth of my children, art recognition has been brought to life. And last but not last, I'd like to say that I'm determined to fight stereotypes and make a difference in a male-dominated business. Thank you so much for your attention.
Thank you so much, Karina. And we got everything just nicely and had just your picture. So I go now first to Guy and afterwards to Ale. Is that good, please?
Yeah, thank you very much for the presentation. The artists probably evolve over their lifestyle and over the lifetime, and change techniques and change brushes and change paints and all the rest. So how can that integrate into what you're doing? Because you probably try to recognize patterns, but the patterns might change because the artists have changed.
So actually, we can also recognize styles indeed. So I mean, we did some tests. Like we've been training like on different style of an artist. Like for example, Kandinsky is an example. We just trained on the different style as it was a different artist. This we did like in the prototyping phase, and then later on we were able to see and to develop our AI further so that it can actually learn the different styles. So we don't need to do that much work anymore. It recognizes the patterns, including the styles.
I think my question probably goes in a similar direction. What's the percentage of reliability of your statement you can achieve? I guess it wouldn't be 100%, but it's 90, 95, or how secure is it, your statement?
Well, it's really often...
Some liability things involved as well. If you get it wrong, are you liable for this statement?
Well, so I think there are 2 questions here. So first of all is the accuracy or the percentage. So indeed, almost all of the results are like above 80% accuracy. So really very high. What I should tell you also is that at first, when we launched this product, we did a lot of blind tests, meaning that, experts gave us like sets of images whereby they knew, like which ones are real and which ones are fake, and we didn't know. And we always returned the correct answers. So this was pretty strong, to begin with. And so meanwhile, we train our AI such that we return like 80% plus accuracy. And as for the liability, I mean, this is of course a very sensible question. I mean, obviously we do our due diligence and work very carefully, but we cannot guarantee with 100% accuracy that we get it right. So we don't take any liability, basically, like all the other experts do and all the others who are active in this field.
Thank you so much, Karina. You came across well with your voice.
And I just made the best out of the 3 minutes.
No worries. We had your picture here. We heard you well and you got your presentation over.
It was a good one.
Thank you so much. And we move on to 212, Christoph Meyer, Mirai Foods.
Yeah, thank you, Regula. I hope you can see and hear me well as the slides.
Well, we can see you. We don't see the slides yet. But I think you're in the process of doing that, correct? And we give Christoph now, yes, you froze now. Are you back again?
Yes, now it should work. Can you see my slide?
No, we cannot see them. Just take a couple seconds. Don't be rushed. We have 5 seconds for you, and otherwise you come in the next loop.
I have to do it later.
Yeah. Do you want to come afterwards and try once more? In peace? Yes, let's do that. We put Christoph just at the end in after 2 more, and we just go on with number 102. Corentin Legris with Fly for All. Please, Corentin.
Hi, do you hear me?
We hear you, we don't see you yet. So there we go.
You don't see me?
Not yet. Christoph is just getting out of the slides, so just keep talking so we know you're around and you're working.
Do you see at least my video, my camera?
We see US webcam utility. I see that, but it says Christoph Meyer, so it's not you.
Okay. And I cannot start the screen sharing because Christoph is still in screen sharing mode.
There we go. And now we have you on the screen. We see your face.
Yeah, hello.
There we go. And we give you another minute to share. We see now your screen really nicely.
Good.
Yes. There we go. Off you go.
It's okay?
Super.
Okay, so hi, my name is Corentin. I'm married and I have 3 kids. I became an entrepreneur early on when I was 28, as I started my first venture in Thailand when I was 28 then. For me, entrepreneurship is an adventure and it is the best vehicle to innovate. Talking about innovation, we believe the most serious challenge facing the maritime transport sector is to significantly reduce its emissions. And today, it is all about big boats carrying a lot of weight, pushing a lot of water, and being too reliant on fuel. It has to change. Our project even is about shifting towards sustainable and more efficient maritime mobility. Imagine a boat that flies silently above the water with 0 emissions, making no waves, and that takes you 10 times further with the same energy. So we have developed a technology that makes it possible, scalable and efficient by resolving all the problems of traditional hydrofoils. Hydrofoils are like wings in the water. They are under the boat and they can lift it above the water. The benefit of our technology is 80% less energy consumed than with traditional boats, and the price per kilometer is 95% lower. We can remotely control a fleet of autonomous hydrofoil boats. How do we achieve that? We merge hydrofoil technology with a full drone technology stack, bringing the latest aeronautics innovation for automation to the maritime world. We integrate an autopilot, sensors, and connectivity to automatically control the flying boats. We also designed complex algorithms for collision avoidance above and below water. And we communicate in real time with our hydrofoil through 4G or satellites. What's the end goal? The market we serve is really big, around $50 billion annually, because all sectors of the maritime world need to accelerate their decarbonization. And after a deep market analysis, we believe the highest potential is parcel deliveries on water, because alternative transportation solutions are urgently needed to greening freight transports. To conclude my presentation, I would say, as you can see, that EVEN can enable a new form of maritime mobility and contribute to develop new markets and new opportunities. Since it is based on drone technology, it is relatively cheap and easy to maintain, which is very important to be adopted and scaled. We are currently 7 people, 4 co-founders, working on the project between Lausanne and San Francisco. In 2020, we became laureate of the Réseau Entreprendre. And within our team, we strongly believe that every revolution in transportation can move humanity forward. And we are excited to take that journey. Thank you for listening to me.
Thank you very much, Corentin.
If I may, thank you for this presentation. I was wondering whether financially this matches in the end. I mean, there are substantial investments anyway. You compete with big companies, big distribution companies. How you envisage that you make ends meet?
Okay, well, so we already have a market, and we are starting by applying our technology to small products for markets that are already accessible for us. So we already have a brand for sport and leisure hydrofoil products, and we are launching in 2 months our first product, which is already industrialized with our technology, to start to have our product in a market. And this also helps us to collect all the data we need to improve our autopilot and our control.
We had 2 more hands.
Thank you.
Who wants to go next? Michael, are you unmuted?
No.
Okay, then it's Aleph.
So my question...
Okay,
yeah.
go, Michael. Sorry about that.
No problem. My question is, what are your main challenges you are faced?
I think the biggest challenge is to cross the chasm between the early believers and the people who are going to follow with that technology, because there is no reason that we don't use the same technology for flying boats than what we are doing since 40 years for airplane and drones since 20 years. And that's also why it's, in our belief, we want to start by having a product on the markets with this sport product, so people can see that it is working, it is possible, and the benefits are here already.
Okay, thank you so much. We are going to move on to number 107, Carmen Escando Serrano, Munich.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, Carmen.
Okay, I'm going to share my screen. Can you see my screen now?
We can see your screen. We can hear you perfect.
Can you see the presentation?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so hello, thank you very much for being here today. My name is Carmen, and I'm very excited about the opportunity to present our project, Munich. 8 million tons of plastic waste is leaking into the ocean each year. In a business as usual scenario, the ocean is expected to contain more plastic than fish by 2050, and this is having toxic effects on us all. This is how personal care contributes to this problem. Take a bottle of shampoo. We buy it, we use it for about a month and a half, and then we throw it away. Only 14% will be recycled, 40% will end up in landfill, and 72% will unfortunately contribute to the pollution of the oceans. In Switzerland alone, consumers get rid of 120 million single-use plastic bottles of hair and shower products on average each year. So let's take a bottle of shampoo. Plastic packaging. 120 billion units of packaging are produced each year by the global cosmetic industry. And despite our best intention, many of them go to landfills. About 70% of its content is water. Shampoo is essentially bottled water, so consumers pay for water, and this unnecessary transport means more CO2 pollution. Munich is the only beauty brand that offers natural, personalized routine with a dramatic cut on plastic for consumers that worry about the planet and want great results and greater hair. We are developing waterless formulas that reduce the carbon footprint because they travel lighter. The packaging and transport savings will represent 80 to 85% reduction in CO2 emissions compared to today's traditional single-use bottles. This is how it works. Our service is a data-driven solution. Our algorithms create unique recommendations based on the customer's input. It takes further decisions considering the location, like humidity levels, water hardness, or pollution. The first delivery contains the forever plastic-free bottles and their innovative waterless formulas. As easy as mixing the formula with tap water at home, and the product is ready to use. We will send the waterless refills timely, keeping a continuous conversation with customers to gather feedback and improve our service. This map provides insights into the relationship between the 4 core benefits that we have defined: mindful production, personalization, direct-to-consumer, and circular economy. As you can see, there are plenty of successful companies, mainly in the US, that are using 1 or 2 of these values. But based on our research, we believe that we'll be the only one working on all 4. We have a structure of our company as Bicephalus, with 2 CEOs. This allows us to be more agile, less hierarchical, and thanks to complementing skills and traits, we make better decisions. 2 brains work better than 1. So we split up the job into areas where we each excel. Silvia, brand development, communication, and people. And I take care of innovation, business strategy, sustainability, and UX. I am creative at heart and analytical engineering at mind. I've been living in several countries and having different experience. My previous experience in corporate venture programs inspired me to become an entrepreneur myself and be in the driving seat for creating impact. We envision a world where there is beauty with no guilt. Thank you for your support and for believing in us, and I look forward to answering your questions.
Christian, please.
Thank you for the nice presentation. A question, could you license out this technology and some brands could use your technology to bring their formulas on the market in the same way?
Yes, there could be a possibility, definitely, yes. For now, we want to bring this technology and to create the brand that will hold this technology, but it could be licensing. And our ultimate goal is to really reduce the plastic and the pollutions that this personal care industry is creating. So definitely, we will be very happy if other brands join our technology.
Thank you. I believe Ale had a question.
Yes, thank you. I mean, as many consumer products, the customer acceptance is a key element to that. I mean, what kind of evidence do you have that customers will like to put a tablet into water and hope that their shampoo will be just as good as L'Oreal's?
Well, I mean, this is definitely the challenge that we are taking, and we are really putting a lot of effort on the effectivity and the performance of the product. We see that there is happening in cleaning industry, so there's a lot of cleaning for the house that they are using these tablets. We have seen also competitors that they are doing it with hand soap. So they send you the concentrated powder formula and then you can use it for hand. But I think consumers are ready and they are, based on the research that we have done, they are really looking for real sustainable options for taking care of themselves. So it's a new behavior, definitely, but we are confident that consumers will like this approach.
Thank you, Carmen. And I hear that Christoph Meyer is back again, so we give him, Mira Foods, again the stage. Please. We see you, Christoph. You can hear us? So he is working on it. We give him a... Okay, we bring him then just later on, or probably at the end of the day, so he has another chance then. So we are actually going to stop right here now with the first cluster. You will see on our website that we go on at 10:50 again, and we are happy when you join us then again.